Hello and welcome everybody back to the Dumbass class with me, the Dyslexic Gamer, as we carry on our tabletop RPG series with some more Dark Heresy. So, for a recap, last week our acolytes made their way down into the Underhive. Sorry about that. Yes, they went down into the Underhive. And after finding a porcupine girl mutant to lead them to the Wild Warden's base of operation, they uncovered that the Wild Wardens had been attacked by a cult of mutants. Said mutants had been annihilated by the dome's defences. Cataphracti... No. Bollocks. What the Cybernetic are called?
Castellans?
Castellans, that's the one, sorry. I was right letter, just wrong. 2 Castellans that had 2 tech priests encased in them to attempt to live for as long as possible, protecting this technological marvel. This dome that they had found. Inside was a much smaller dome, but surrounding that was a large open area, and 1/4 of that area had been turned into a village. The mutant village of the Underhive. After they met the leader again, they were shown inside the smaller dome, into the Thunderdome, where they met 5 other mutants, psychers, 2 of which were no longer really human. They were very quickly going well over the line until it was no longer visible in the distance. 2 of them were changed from their use of their powers, but they were still very much human. And 1 was a child. The child brought up some interest from the others, the other psychers in the group. But after some discussion, and feeling very uncomfortable for the leader of the Wild Wardens, and is it Jenny? It's Jenny in this one. They left the Thunderdome and headed back to the mutant village. Our invisible camcorder picks the group back up as they leave, getting just a glimpse of the cold steam, cold air coming out as it takes off, getting a better view of the surrounding area. The ones who went in there, the 2 psychers and the tech priest, you're led back to where the rest of the group is. You can see that Ezio is still keeping guard across the courtyard. As he sees you, you can give him a wave and let him, or over comms, let him know that you're fine and that you're going for a well-needed drink, as you're taken back around to what this place would call a bar. It's a very, very small bar. We'll get you all in there somehow. Once Alucard, the leader of the Wild Wardens, makes his way in, he sits down, takes the low sticks pack that Liliana had offered to him last week. He takes a low stick out and he lights another one. After a few moments, you would notice that Squidly, I think that's what I called him, the tentacled-legged bar boy, comes scrooching along. How are you doing? Hope everyone's fine. Here we go, we've got some glasses here. I even cleaned them. Here you go, here you go. Have some Amasex. There we go, for everyone's. He seems like a very happy little mutant. Squiddly, thanks. Leave the bottle and attend to your business. Okay. Places a big ass bottle. If you've ever been in the catering industry, this is basically, and for Darius at least, and Ezio, this would be a familiar aroma and taste. This is a huge bottle of guard issue Amasec. You imagine this would be like the ones that, in fact, you probably remember them in the big mess halls when you would get a shot of Amasec with your ration lot. These big ass bottles being at the back of the commissary bar. Commissary? Yeah, commissary bar. I can't guarantee you'll taste any better than the stuff you drank earlier, Missy. Hang on. It wasn't Missy. It was Mordecai who went blind last time.
It was Mordecai, yeah.
But it won't make you go blind, at least. He takes a sip.
That's comforting to know. I take a sip as well.
Oh, it burns. It burns, but with the burning, there's like an aroma that comes off, and it's like the worst whiskey that you've ever drunk. But there is at least some flavour there with the burning. It's one of those. Oh wow! Yeah.
That's a little stronger than I was expecting. But I can still see, so that's positive.
So I imagine you have some questions or.
That's putting it mildly. I'll just look over to Liliana and Jenny. It's like, I think you need to explain some things to us. They mentioned that you know things and don't tell many about it.
Also, Ezio, if you want to come over to the bar, you are able to now. You've been keeping Overwatch. If you look at the map, you're on the other side of the courtyard. It's up to you if you want to carry on sitting there. You can listen into the conversation because Beethoven is in the bar with everyone else.
I will probably move in.
Sure, you can move your token into the bar area where everyone is. If you could squeeze in somewhere. I won't.
I'll move mine where it was last time.
I won't complain if anyone goes over and ends up in the wall. You know, the map's a little bit small.
Telefrag.
Well, don't we all have secrets? But if it's mission pertinent, I suppose I can illuminate you.
I just again look at the others and say, please do. If we're going to do our jobs here, we're going to need to know what's going on.
What exactly is your job here? He smiles.
Liliana perks up.
Remember, we haven't told him shit, actually.
I know.
No. Liliana just perks up and say, let's just say we're an interested party that has means. And thankfully we had training to, know how to fight.
Yeah, but that doesn't really... Never mind. Well, if you don't have any questions, then, is there any other reason you came to our little dwelling down here?
Out of character, we came down here because that dude exploded in the
Yeah.
warp, right? So yeah, Liliana's just gonna perk up and say, well, we did originally come down here because someone exploded in the walk down here, but we're just gonna look to the door and say, seeing that big hunk of mass that your Castellans killed outside, I guess we know what happened.
Though your talk of cultists down here does have me worried.
That's not uncommon. I mean, have you seen this fucking shithole? Who wouldn't turn to, bizarre means to live down here?
Out of character question. Would they know it would be the great enemy, or is the great enemy too abstract related to them?
Great enemy is subjective from world to world. It could be Heresy, it could be Nids, could be Orcs, could be Eldar, could be Dark Eldar.
The great
but-
enemy encompasses all.
Yeah.
However, the Ministorum preachers would also use the great enemy, the dark enemy, the enemy unknown, the enemy within. They would never say within the warp. They wouldn't have clearance
No.
for stuff like that. They wouldn't
It would be
say-
Heresy. Heretics, those who turn their backs on the God Emperor and stuff.
Yes. You have seen the 8-pointed star, carved into the flesh and burnt into the flesh of the mutants that were killed outside this place. Something that you guys haven't really seen before. I don't think... Oh, one of you might have had something in their backstory that they might have seen an 8-pointed star.
I mean,
But most of you, I don't think, have anything to do with that. So it's...
No.
I don't think I would.
Well,
If it looks like a religious symbol that's not one approved by ecclesiarchy, those who have a primer, like probably me and Ezio, would see it as, well, yeah, it looks like a heretical mark. We wouldn't know exactly what it is or anything, but it'll be,
Yes.
yeah, it looks like heresy.
Yes, you
But
would
if
definitely
something
know
just
that.
carved into someone's skin, it could be anything from just a gang tattoo to anything like that. So I wouldn't really.
I imagine...
I
I don't know, actually, because, again,
don't think you would know it's chaos.
on Vrax, they didn't know that the common people did not know that the symbols they were putting on themselves were linked to the 4 gods. They just saw them as symbols for this. I don't think the 8-pointed star would be on the look out for this sigil. It means evil.
It's not
I mean,
that.
the problem with that
It was
doing
explained.
that is also. I mean, problem with doing that is also that just that print also becomes infested with chaos because of the mark, so they can't
Yes.
really do that.
So
And Shetty was saying something.
The whole thing about the 8-pointed star and Vrax was because it was explained to be, this is the bastion, this is the walls of protecting
Yes.
the citadel and stuff. So stuff like that can be explained. So if it's explained as like the walls of the Hive City, yeah, they can get away with that, and it wouldn't get away with to an ecclesiarch member or anything,
So-
but it would.
yeah, there certain people higher up would definitely know that that's wrong. I'll give it
Arbites
to
would
you
know.
that you guys would know that that's wrong by the simple fact that it's been carved, burnt, and mutilated into flesh. That's more than enough sign to be like, that seems really dodgy. Mental note. For the... it's just something that happens down here. You can roll to see if he's telling the truth. You'd get a plus 60 to it because he's telling the truth.
I don't believe him.
Swine. Then roll, get a natural 100 and fail.
Honestly.
After all the stuff
Inquiry?
the psychic people told us,
It would be
What psychic people? Sorry, go ahead.
No, by all means, please explain what psychic people.
the psychic people they have here.
They're psychic. Well, there was that fucker that tried to scan my brain, wasn't there?
Yeah. Well,
Maybe.
there's 5 of them, but yes.
Wait, what?
Long story.
Are you saying there's a bunch of fucking mutant psychers around here?
They're not. Not all psychers are mutants.
Are you telling me a bunch of twists are harboring psychers?
Yeah, we got about 5 of them in that smaller dome back there.
I just give him a look of, you can't break this news to him more gently.
You can't see it, but Darius went very, very pale.
I understand the, look there. I know it goes against the primer. Being down here is against the primer. The people I live with go against the primer. If you want to check out the defenses set up around them, you can. You can ask your tech priest friend here. I've taken every cautionary countermeasure I can think of. But the sad fact is, without them, we wouldn't know that we were going to be attacked. They're able to warn us. And a lot of these forsaken folk down here, well, most of them wouldn't be alive without that one's healing ability. Myself included, begrudgingly.
Right. Do you mind if I go check it out then? Listen. This isn't about the primer. This is my doctrine. We. I'm sorry, but we're. There's no way to explain it, but we're excessively prejudiced, and I want to make sure this shit's in line. I've turned a blind eye to some things with the group, but I need to check this shit out.
Lieutenant's gonna raise a hand to Darius and say, Darius, both myself, Mordecai, and Jenny are there. And I guarantee you, I give you my word, that they are for now secure. this is technically the best place for them.
Each one of them is confined to that little dome over there. They've got bomb collars around their necks. The tech priests set them up. They leave the dome, boom. They go off the rails, boom. For the most part, we've never had to use the collars. They seem quite content to stay in that dome and never leave. Which keeps them out of my hair, at the very least.
Right. Right.
But by all means, you can check out the perimeter and defenses, but they've already said you can't go in there.
There is one in there, Darius, that once our business down here is concluded, we need to get to the proper authorities. They are gifted.
Out of character, what the hell are you on about? I think this was mentioned last session, but...
This would all be last session stuff, but your character would know nothing about this because Beethoven wasn't allowed to go in. Only 3
I wasn't
people
allowed
went
either.
in.
Yeah.
So the 2 psychers and Jenny can fill you in on what happened in there, but yeah, other than that, you wouldn't know. Your character wouldn't know anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit back down, but I'm taking my shotgun back out. I'm gonna just say it's just a precaution.
But yeah, it's, loses the serious face on her face. Just goes like, yeah, that's fair. She's nuts.
I gave a little, and they just took it all back. So fuck it, I'm taking the shotgun back out.
We really need to work on your interpersonal skills, Darius.
Sounds like you need to work on keeping secrets.
I'd say his reaction's about right.
But it's not
No,
how we
it's not.
make new friends.
You haven't
Like-
been long out the military, have you? I've
I'm giving him a sideways glance. Not the mutant, I'm giving Waldo a sideways glance. Mordecai even. What? The fuck did you just say? Oh,
I said we need to work on your interpersonal skills. And for that matter, no. I haven't been out the military long.
He wasn't talking to you.
Oh,
He was clearly
Oh, okay.
he was
That
clearly
makes a lot
talking
more-
to Ezio and Darius.
okay.
Because they're
That makes a
actually
lot
acting.
more sense. Ignore me. Ignore my stupid brain. Sorry.
No, that's quite alright.
Look, sometimes you do what you have to survive. I've done what I had to. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do, but neither was having my men executed. Or maybe it was. I just know that I wasn't prepared to lay down my life for performing my duty. So, me and my men made it down here. And we had the same reaction as you. Shoot on sight. It's all well and good until the packs run out. Then all of a sudden, shooting on sight has to become stab, bludgeon. Well, that doesn't last that long, funnily enough. So, we changed our approach. And now we have this. Might be a shithole, but by the God Emperor who sits upon terror, beloved by all, we have brought his light to these people. We have built a shrine to his glory. And we have dedicated ourselves to protecting this place, which is in favor, it seems, with the Omnisire, because, lo and behold, there are two of his servants stood there waiting for a force to assist them. So, you tell me, was I wrong? Or was I right? You'll soon learn, you two, that once out of the regiment, adapting is the only way to survive.
Darius will stay quiet, but will keep his eyes on the mutant.
He drinks the rest of his nasty shot.
Well then, if there's nothing that you're gonna ask me, you can stay here. We'll feed you if you didn't bring enough, and send you on your way in the morning. I'll send Prickly with you.
Before that, Lena's gonna lean forward on the table. Can you tell me about this cultist group that she's gonna look at, theirs, that isn't on the primer? Do you know where they are situated to?
No. They don't have a base. Think of it this way. If you have a grain store, well, eventually the rats are gonna come and try and take your grain. The basic. Well, this is a grain store to the psychically gifted, I suppose. Because whenever they do attack, there's at least a psycho with them. Or an abomination, or some such. The attacks are rare. Don't happen that often. But they fight like wild animals. They run through gunfire. Whittle our numbers down. I can't replace the damaged equipment or the lives as quickly as they can breed in the darkness. They're mutants, just like the ones you fought in the mushroom growery. But if one gets born and is awakened, touched, I don't know how psychers are born, or changed, or come about. That's normally when they take notice of this place. And that's when they come running. If you want to assist, you could bring me some weapons. But as you can see, we don't exactly have all that much to trade.
Was that fungus farm outside visible to us?
No,
Out of character?
no. Well, you didn't see. The thing is, when you walked round, you could have possibly seen a room with a light, the luminescent glow from the fungus that were lighting your path throughout this in the Underhive. But none of you questioned it when you walked past or rolled awarenesses, so currently no.
Would it be too big of a leap for me to link them to the previous fungus? Because they did
You know that they do control the other fungus farm. You met their scouts, their guard units, who were there.
Okay. And then just we can run guns for you. Do you'll have those fungi from before? The last time you met us?
We do, but it may only be fungus, but that's a prized possession down here. We're not gonna let it go cheap, if that makes sense.
Well, it would be on equal trade, wouldn't it? We'd be running guns for you and ammunition, and you'd be giving us some of that fungus.
I can see what supplies of it we have, how much we can go without. Sure.
There you go. Then she's gonna look at Darius, Mordecai, Jenny, and Ezio. We could run guns for them.
You'd be better off just bringing equipment down here. There's no point trying to make up a deal until you have merchandise to show. Not to be disrespectful or anything, but simple fact is, until we actually do the trade, then I'm not giving up any supplies.
Oh no, that's completely fair out of you. But still, seeing as how that's one of the things that you have on the table, talking about it before we actually come down with equipment is prudent.
No, by all means, that's fine. I can talk about what we have to trade. I just can't give you anything.
Oh, I'm not asking for you to give us anything for free. If we are going to have a friendly relationship, we do have to have boundaries.
So essentially, he's not going to do any down payments, any 50-50s. You provide this for just to speed that part of the roll RP up. If you bring 10 las guns, then he'll do a deal on 10 las guns and you'll get the fungus. If you can get, that's how he'll trade with you, as if you're traveling merchants and you're selling him stuff. So he'll basically tell you that they have a couple of different fungus types, and he will say that that's not their only growery. So he can, essentially, when you bring supplies, he has different types of fungus if you want to risk it to see if they're the correct ones, basically, to make anything from. He also has leather. He has leather, and he has technically he has fur, like very small furs that he can sell.
Technically, fur is quite an exotic thing for a hive city, isn't it?
Well, rat fur and mutant fur is not really luxurious.
You were right on the first one. So it's not on the stream, but the players could have at least looked around the map and noticed that they do have some other things. Yes, there's swarms of rats
Yeah, there's rats.
and giant
and-
worm creatures.
Wormies. I want to ask something real quick of them. These cultists that swarm, or these mutants or whatever, do they always come from the one direction, or do they come from multiple? Is there only one way in, one way out of this place, I take it, or?
There's only one way in. That's why it's been so easy to defend. That outer dome, it might not look it, but it's incredibly thick. And there isn't a scratch on the outside. We have had some groups, small groups, that tried once they... So after they were taken out, their leader gone, some smaller groups fled off and some decided, well, fuck it. Let's see if we can break our way through. I got the militia to set up in lines and cleared them out, but they couldn't scratch the outer material. So they have to come through the front if they want to enter. It's odd. When they have leadership, they know that. They almost always come from the sides and try and attack the front.
What about creatures? Do you get many creatures in here? I don't mean, for once, I don't mean twists. I mean actual rats and crap like that.
We breed rats, and
Do you
there's a
find
type
wild
of-
ones running around here?
rarely.
Right.
We went further up to get the rats that we have. The further down you go, the larger predators are. There's a few weird, unique creatures. The
Little bat
divers.
things. Yeah.
Divers, yeah. They're well, food source to be fair, but they can be an issue if there's a big host of them or a swarm. There are some other. They're a mutant. They gotta be. They're too human-looking in form. Great at ambushing.
Right.
They've taken out a few patrols. The worm things, they seem to eat through the slur as liquid falls. If it gathers, a slurry forms, and the worms seem to live in that. We gather the slurry to feed them. But there are a host of different creatures down here.
You said you checked the walls and you've only got one way in, but have you checked the floor?
Oh, it's solid. Although this area is
Yeah.
made out to be almost decorated. Underneath these stone tiles, I guess, it's solid metal. I don't know if that's the case everywhere, but you'd have to ask the tech priests out front what exactly is underneath this, and if there's any cables or there must be, but I haven't got the foggiest about its foundations, I guess.
Alright. You mind if I take a look around just to check your formations and your fortifications? I will put the shotgun away.
By all means, I'll have one of my people shadow you.
No, I'll.
She'll keep her distance. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll stand up, put the shotgun back in my bag, pull out the Stormchild. Didn't say anything but the Stormchild, and go on a patrol.
I'll probably follow Darius just to make sure he gets back in one piece.
Sure. So,
Uh,
as you two say, right, you putting your weapons away and taking out other weapons, Alucard leans out and Lafia, shadow them. Oh, sorry, wrong voice. Lafia, shadow him. She comes down into the bar, greets both of you with a nod. She's kind of attractive. Like, her features would be on a non-feathered person. You know, definitely not supermodel. We're not, she's not stunning. She's attractive. She's a nice looking girl. But, yeah, she does have, now that you're up close, tiny little, like, songbird. The tiny little feathers on their front. She has them going all the way from, like, the side of her head, going back. Getting to the ear area, you can just make out that the feathers are getting bigger. She does have a helmet on. She, gives you a nod. She is in full guard uniform, very tatty and worn. And she goes out and he will shadow you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll carry on, take a look around the perimeter and everything, just look at different things that catch my eye and such. Do you want to carry on with other stuff and we'll go back to that or whatever?
Sorry, it's not Latvia, it's Amy. I was thinking, hang on, I'm sure I've written down all their names and their descriptions, and I did. It was important names and NPs and VIPs. Sure. So you two essentially are whisked away over there, and she shadows you. So sure, you can walk around the perimeter, and the rest of the dome if you wish.
Okay. That I will do.
So, does the rest of the group want to ask Alucard anything?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm running blank because all I can think about is we came down here for the big bad explosion in the war, and after that, I'm just like, now what?
Yeah, I did have something I wanted to ask him last week, but I can't find where I've written it down. I've completely forgotten. So I guess that's all from me really.
So, as a reminder from what the Psychers told you last time, of the, not including the child, of the 4, 2 of them didn't give a shit, didn't really care if you took the child away. 2 of them felt very, very parental of them. My other finger won't rise any higher, so you get those 2. Felt very parental of the child, and they didn't want him to be taken. They had a feeling of the Black Ships not being a nice place, and you mentioned about having him sent there. The child was able to put up psychic defenses like that. everyone else in there has no psychic defenses and had never met anyone with psychic defenses other than your natural willpower. And yet the child was able to raise and lower his at snap of a finger. You asked about voices that he was tempted by, and that was when he awakened. But that was the first time Liliana had heard an actual voice within the warp, not just the background whispers and torments and psychic fuckery that psychers have to live with, and you guys have trained to block out, but there was an actual voice offering him power. Which would have been a first for you, I think. Mordecai, not so much.
Mordecai doesn't need this bullying, okay?
For our tech priest, she learnt that this place is a psychic amplifier. This dome is a psychic amplifier. You guys know you wouldn't have that information yet. But that this place could or within the smaller dome, could be turned potentially into an X-Time-8 space. This is a place where reality and where the immaterium and the material universe overlap, but they do not cause conflict between each other. This is something that the tech priests obviously knew something about or learnt from this place. That's very censored information. So you wouldn't normally be able to get as much information as what Jenny got from those two anywhere else. You'd probably only be able to get up to maybe a tick, but the absolute information bomb that they unloaded on Jenny gave her more than enough to go much higher than that. This area itself actually has pulsating lightning, or it almost looks like lightning that shoots up the sides of the dome, and it has a script that lights up going down the dome, but the smaller dome it goes around. It is an unknown script to most of you, if not all of you. And apart from that, there's a fighting pit and a load of mutants.
We talked about... Oh, we haven't talked to him about the voices, have we? That may have been what I'd written down. So, what do you know about the voices that boy had heard? You must have been familiar with his story, as they sent you to go rescue him.
Look, when we found that boy, there was nothing unusual about the place. He was in some, I don't know, rundown factory that was collapsing. Some illuminating fungus was growing in the area. There was nothing out of the ordinary when we got there. But the kid was almost catatonic, just murmuring to himself. And I was told just get him to the dome. Get him within our influence. Get him further. So I picked him up and I ran. Don't get me wrong, I had my gun to his head the whole time, but that's just a precaution. I don't hear voices in my head. Except from when I'm in... Well, I didn't used to hear voices in my head. And now it's just, well, you've met the individuals that those voices are connected to, so
Well, I got the sense that you knew more about whatever that child went through than at least the psychers were willing to tell us. They said that we should ask you.
Oh, okay, I know what you're on about. Well, I know what you may have kind of remembered. Give me a charm test minus 30.
Okay, that's not gonna go well. Need a natural one, boys. No.
Not bad. Not bad. 18. You can tell that he is hiding something. I'll give you that, but he's not willing to talk upon it.
I'm sorry, but some information's personal.
That's understandable. Perhaps when we get a better relationship.
There's really quite alarming coughing coming from the next door over, or from outside, but Alucard holds his hand up and stops the conversation.
I'll be right back.
And he leaves the room.
I just mutter, this is where I wish I had the ability to see into people's minds.
And then it's just gonna look at you, cock her head to the side, and say, "You do realize they have people specifically probing us for that very reason. So that's why I don't feel comfortable."
They're not
Poking
probing you
people's
now.
minds?
They're not. Just to clarify, they're not actually probing you anymore. When
I know, but
when you
still.
left, that connection was cut off. So that just so that especially you two are aware innately now, because you know that there are psychers about, and you know the mind nudge from them. So they're not listening into this conversation. You can at least be assured of that.
Let me rephrase this in a better way then. You do realize they have people that probe other people's mind in here, and if I do that, he will clearly know.
That's why I suggested we get to know each other better first.
Probably the best idea. Especially since if I do probe him and he finds out, he might he may get very pissed.
Yeah, I can see that. We also need to try and earn their trust for the other reason. Getting that child out of here and to safety.
That's something for the future. But now we just gotta do what we can do. And to be quite honest, when I actually reached down here, I actually expected something more than just this. I mean, she's gonna look at you. I did feel something blowing up again.
So did I. And I will say it's a different feeling when it's not happening to you. Well, not you. You knew what I meant.
I know. At least I think that's all that happened down here. If that's been taken care of, we should be fine. And if we do need fungus, we now can come here and sell them guns.
Yes. And well, we may be able to find some individuals at some point that would be willing to join them. Feel like that would be useful to look into at least. We can't have this place and those psychers coming under someone else's control.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they're quite safe down here, especially with those big ass machines.
Yeah, that's true, but just
Lillian
makes
is
me
just
feel uneasy. Especially that child heard things.
Oh, I certainly never felt that before. So yeah, that would probably be very scary.
I wish never to feel whatever that was again.
Both, buddy. You and me both.
Being very careful with what I say right now.
Well then, I guess. Isn't the booze still on the table?
Yes.
Anna's gonna refill her cup. Down another cup. Shake a little bit as the burn is going down. Well, I guess for now we just wait and then we go back home. Unless we can think of something we need to ask them. Do you want to ask them anything, Jenny?
Nothing that comes to mind. Truth be told, I'm still trying to take in, everything.
Fair enough.
Well, the quicker we can get them their weapons and possible manpower, the better.
Don't mean to interrupt, but I have some business to take care of. There's a couple of rooms attached to this place. They're rooms with beds. You'll have to decide between who gets to sleep on the beds, but it's the best we can do. If you need me, my guards are outside. Yeah. Have a good evening. Don't jump into fighting pit. It won't be fair.
Oh, don't worry. We don't want to humiliate anyone. Smile and wave.
Sure. So he goes outside. You can probably hear him talking to a few people outside, muttering things.
Diana will mutter to herself, I wonder if they have an ogre down there.
Maybe an Ogrin, but no ogre.
I was about to say, you
What's
mean
an ogre?
do you mean Ogrit? Is that what they call them on your world?
Oh, yes.
Sorry, what?
There's a Ogrin down there apparently.
Well, I wonder
So-
if they have one.
Rax a shell.
Darius and Ezio. When you're going round and doing your patrol, you can see that the smaller dome has what looks like maybe an entrance. You can't actually tell because it's smooth, but there are excuse me, about 50 meters from said entrance, there's a line of sandbags set up, or at least sandbags in the underhive sense. They built barricades and yeah, basically, and just any detritus they could chuck into a bag. It's stacked up, and it seems to be good. So the barricades have been set up, the defences and everything like what you'd expect a military person to have done looks like a military person has done. This whole perimeter defence for the dome, which is all facing towards the dome to attack things that are coming out of it, is all guard standard. You know, this is if your company captain was coming across, you'd be getting an extra round for how well it's positioned, built up, you know, to the primer. However, the ones who are defending it, you know, you keep back and you're approaching from behind. Wow, that was quite loud, Jazina. By the by.
Fucking attack the headphones.
Yeah,
Jesus.
ow.
The guards have been very lazy. You can tell that although a couple of them are staring at the dome, because every now and then, as a reminder, the dome lights up and the script goes round. So there's something at least to watch on the dome. But the rest of them, you know, they're talking, smoking, their weapons aren't at the ready. They're definitely not set up how you want them to be set up for something like this.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you would have known guard units who, on, you know, a safeguard duty, got slack. So it depends on how your world was situated. You may never have seen guards slacking off as much as they are.
Towards the end, no. But just people being on guard duty, they don't have to be on an active state at all times. Being at rest is fine. It's actually one of the states of attention, basically. As long as they are, at least as long as most of them are, you know, keeping an eye out and everything, and willing to, you know, shout and raise their weapons. That's fine. It's still workable. So, so far everything seems standard. You're not going to keep your rifle shouldered at all times, you see. So that's the rule.
And they have been on guard for some time.
Exactly. So yeah, even though the twists and everything, I still know that. Yeah, it's
common military sense reverse.
And the weaponry that they have aimed at the dome is also, it's not the black powder rifles that they've been, like the Giselles that they've been using, that you've seen them with. These are actually auto guns, las guns. They're all pretty, you know, mishmash. But it seems like they have got a lot of their most potent weapons facing this way, or facing towards the smaller dome.
At most likely source of trouble. Or big trouble.
Oh. You would notice on your way back round that, again, the area, so the map is only 1/4. I think I said 1/4 of the free area, or 1/5 of the free area. There's a lot of space that's just empty, but it all has the same floor type. It all looks like it was like almost ceremonially put down for this like cobbled, paved effect. Goes in complete contrast to the metal dome, like the smooth, polished, and like artisan crafted script. It's a bit odd, but then who knows with technology? Fucking they're twists in there and they're in a little dome. Who knows? But on your way back, you would see Alucard also doing a check of the perimeter. And the girl who is following you, she does stay a good 50 to 60 meters back.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure to go over and actually check the walls. He did mention that they would pile up against the outsider walls, wouldn't they, as they led around to the front entrance?
So some of the smaller groups tried getting through, tried like beating their way through. They do try and come up on the blind sides of the two defending castellans, so they do sweep up the sides. But to gain entrance, they have to go through the front, which means going through the castellans normally.
Okay.
But so the largest entrance into this hallway is where they had their outpost set up, their perimeter guard. But there are smaller entrances into this vast, empty, well, semi-empty chamber in the Underhive.
Okay. I'll take a sweep of the outmost perimeter I can get to, and then just call it then, I suppose. Head back in. See if there's anything else that catches my eye, or...
Sure. Yeah, there wouldn't be anything else that catches your eye except from like the eerie feeling of how things are set up and that it is like guard standard. It gives you like this eerie, because it's not the standard materials, but it's a bit of a odd feeling as you're in the Underhive and then you see guard barricades set up to guard standard and you see like, oh look, there's a sniper post. Oh look, there's a machine gun nest with like no machine gun on, and like they've seemed to have added for future defenses, but they just don't have the actual weaponry or manpower anymore. But on your way back, you'd see that Alucard has gone in with the guard as the guard have rotated shift, and he's talking to them, and as you're making your way on the last stretch, he makes his way back. It's about, you're all getting very tired at this point. It has been a long ass fucking day. As he sees you, he just greets you and, is everything up to your standards? Anything we could add?
I mean, since you have those nicely thick breezed over there, we've noticed that you kind of have a lack of men material. Maybe ask if they can't battlefield craft something.
They don't have to, I suppose, live for as long as they have, they had to sacrifice a lot. They can't move. Well, they can move a little, but they can't craft things. They are essentially, they're smart servitors. They stand there dutiful, keeping watch and protecting this place. But apart from that, they share some limited knowledge. Very limited knowledge. But, yeah, they're of no help to us in that respect.
Yeah, no, nothing really to add that you probably already haven't noticed yourself. Sorry, what rank were you when you were in the guard?
He stares down at the ground for a while before answering.
Captain. I held the rank of captain.
I give him a nod and carry on.
You never answered my question. I've reviewed.
What question?
No, it's to Ezio, and it's what would they have done in his shoes?
I don't know. Depends on the situation. Depends on what's the possibilities.
I've already seen what my planet would have done, so if you don't mind, I'd rather keep it to myself. And I'll carry on.
He nods, but there's definitely like not. Neither of them was an answer, so he's accepted it, but he's.
I mean, my answer was, I don't know. I mean, take it or leave it. Out of character.
I'm deliberately giving a complete non-answer. Yeah.
Sure. So there's a little bit of an awkward. No, he'd probably go and walk the perimeter again, and go and have a long old think, and maybe smoke some nasty smokes. You guys can make your way back over to the group, where you'll be informed that you're sleeping in this room tonight. Oh, yeah. So you can flip a throne to see who gets the bed and who gets the floor. Joyous.
Which rooms are?
This one.
Who has the bedroll?
Liliana is jumping on the bed. She's staying there. All you guys are discussing.
Yes! I got it. I got the other one. Fuck you.
Well, I've got a bedroll, so I didn't care.
I do too. I'm putting my bedroll on top of the bed. I'm not sleeping on the sheets.
I mean,
Yeah, that's the
sure
exact
you
same
want to
thing.
put your bedroll onto that mattress?
Listen, I can buy a new bedroll when we get back up top. I'm stripping the streets. I'm stripping the streets. Stripping the streets. Stripping the sheets. Giving them to whoever's sleeping on the floor, and putting my bedroll on top of the mattress. Quite simple.
Liliana's gonna cock her head to the side, look at you, and say, "That might be a smart idea." Yeah. She's just gonna take out her.
Cleanliness is godliness.
Put it on top and say, "I can always buy another one of these anyway." And she's just gonna sleep on top.
I'm sorry, what was that? Cleanliness is next to.
Cleanliness
God
is
emperor.
godliness.
Sure.
I'd rather be a clean corpse than a dirty one.
I mean, I don't think a corpse can be clean, but that's just personal opinion.
Ezio, just give me this one.
Someone
please.
dies in the bath. Okay.
Yeah, but then you release all your shit into the bathwater.
Yeah. We haven't got to that point yet. As soon as you die, you become a corpse. As soon as it's lights out, you're a corpse.
Please, just give me this one.
So the
Okay, I'd rather be a clean corpse than a dirty one.
the night. The night. This is going to be amusing. So
I think I got anything to lock the door with.
you can shut the door. You can. There you go. We'll. I'm taking control of the servitors. They're on guard duty. Just next to the door. That's you slam shut and it just swings open again. You put someone's shoe there. You look around and you're
No.
like, hang on a minute, whose shoes is this? It's like, oh well, just put one there. Keeps
Can
it
I
shut.
stick the door closed with my 5 kilograms of dead cord?
Fucking hell!
You can.
Can I take out my metal wedge and give it to him and just go like, please just put the wedge on there?
Thank you. I take the wedge instead.
I was gonna say it's a wooden door, but it's obviously not a wooden door. It'd be like an aluminium, a metal one, to survive this
metal.
long. Yeah. I'm going to say, let's roll a 1d100.
Probably something sort of.
Ooh, my first roll, a natural 1. You have an actual door. You know, this is it actually shuts. Somehow it has survived all these millennia down here.
Never mind then.
I was yeah, apparently you shut it and you're like, hang on, this can't be. And you turn the little thing and there's a neat little click. And as you try the door handle, holy fucking Emperor, it's locked. Natural 1 for you.
Okay then.
Still put the wedge under there. It helps.
I'm still putting the wedge in, but I will put the death pack away. The death cord. I don't need the sticky properties of it yet. Pity we don't have. No, I'm sorry. Pity we don't have fucking Ragnar to seal the door.
Who and what now?
Out of character, I mean. Out of character. Pity we don't have Ragnar who wants to steal the door.
It's
So-
not got Gromrel in it, so it's fine.
As you
I mean,
bed
it got
down.
space metal in it.
Yeah.
I would want
As-
that door.
As you bed down for the night, by the miracle that is the God Emperor who protects always, your door shuts and locks. You say a little prayer before going to sleep. The wedge is firmly in place. Unfortunately, as you do start to drift off to sleep, the mutants are not a happy people. They are not a people who are mentally sound, and there's a lot of screaming, a lot of night terrors, a lot of PTSD. They've just been through a bloody battle where a lot of their friends died. There's a lot of crying. Friends, comrades, people who live next door. There's some sobbing and weeping going on. It does not look like it is happy times for the Wild Wardens people, mutants, freaks. But apart from that, you don't get attacked, which is a bit of a mercy.
Good. Otherwise, I would have to requisition Mordecai's flavor.
You touch that flame and you blow up. I can do that. I'm a pyromancer. Oh, it's very pleasant sleeping tonight, I think. It's like being back home.
Oh, definitely not the good part of back home. Kind of like childhood, actually. Just worse than bad.
It worries me that this is very so similar.
Oh, you have no idea, buddy. This is actually mild.
Yeah, I have no idea.
We need to get that kid out of here.
Lilia's just gonna perk up
Just
from my bed.
remind me, why
It's not
do we
good
need to
dreaming,
get
is
the psychic kid out of this place?
Because
We really
is
need
it
another
counted?
psychic. Like,
Yeah.
isn't 3 enough? Is 2 enough? 2 is more than I've seen in my entire life.
I mean, there are two in this room.
The short version of why we need to grab the kid is we need a Mario.
The long version, the God Emperor gave him his gifts, and he would be a valuable asset to the Imperium. And he'd be safer than he is here.
I mean,
I mean, not that I know a lot about psychics, but from what I've read, are you guys truly safe anywhere?
Oh yes, on the black ships. It's actually no. No, nowhere. But Black Ships is probably the best place for a psychic to be, at least for them to learn.
And you'd be headed towards Holy Terror. What safer place is there in the galaxy than that?
True, true. So, how will I get our new mutant friend to give up his psychic child? I mean, what bargaining chips do we have? Let's take an inventory.
We earn their trust. We make friends with them. And I'm just staring daggers at Darius at this point.
I mean, that does sound all nice, but what can we offer them that they don't already have?
Manpower,
Hmm,
materials that they can't get down here.
Do I need to remind you there
Question.
in the underhive? Everything you have in the middle hive, none of that is here. None of it.
Yeah. One guy's just focusing on the things that they
Question.
need to specifically protect that kid right now. Is manpower and weaponry and materials.
Question. Is there a bounty on psychic children?
No, there's a bounty on you if you harvest psychic children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Technically, there would be an outstanding order from the High Lords of Terror that any psyker, man, woman, or child must be handed in to the either the closest Astra Telepathica building or outpost, or the closest, it'd go down in, if it happens to be right side out an Astra Telepathica building, great, send them straight there. If not, an Enforcer outpost. If not, your local PDF outpost. Just get them somewhere where it can be led up to either the there's a word for the inquisitorial buildings on worlds, and I think it's called the Questa Imperialis. No, the Inquisitalis. They bring it up in the fluff that there are these black shadowy buildings on most homeworld planets. So in a solar system, or a subsector rather, normally there'll be one home world, one dominant world that is the brain of that subsector. They have the buildings that collect all the data and then ship it to the Imperium, which then gets back to Holy Terror to be processed and blah blah blah. Well, on those worlds, they normally have an inquisitorial building where any inquisitorial prisoners can get sent to. Any information for the inquisitional agents can use it as a building to resupply and to send messages and so on and so forth. This technically is the home world of this system. So there would be, and it has a number of planets in it that are habitable. So this system would be a prime candidate to have a small inquisitorial building where, it might just be an office for the Inquisition where they have special housing for psychers, basically. There might not actually be any inquisitors that ever even go into that building. It's just a prison, but they should have one. You could send him there, but by all means, you still have to get him out. You could probably buy him if you turn up with, 100k worth of supplies for them. He'll probably be able to.
Luigi is expensive. It's more like a Waluigi.
You'd probably be able to buy him from Alucard. He's pragmatic enough to see that the offer's too good to pass up. Because otherwise you're talking about pissing off the group of psychers. he really doesn't want to deal with, you know. And just for whenever talking about psychers, dealing with psychers, there has definitely been, he doesn't like psychers. He really doesn't. But he has to use them, get along with them, you know. So, yeah.
It's a shame he's a twist. He actually would have got along quite well.
You mean you don't like us?
No, Alucard, not you.
We're not technically twists. But okay.
Listen, coming down to technicalities, someone took your fucking DNA and twisted it into a fucking jump rope, okay? But it's a much more stable jump rope than that thing's out there.
That's a colorful way.
That's how my
describe
sister
it.
described it. That's how my sister described it, okay?
You have a sister.
How does your sister know this?
She's in the officer corps. She was, I think. Oh. Yeah, I guess I didn't check when I...
You know, I'm still rolled over, staring at the wall, trying to sleep while you guys are talking.
Yeah,
I am responding, but I'm just like
You're doing it in
trying
that
to
way of
pass
like
on.
you're doing it in that way of please just shut up. I want to sleep.
Darius just kind of your sleep would be wise. Roll around himself.
The next morning, you awaken to the sound of what sounds like someone banging on a metal cooking pot.
Don't think it's a good idea to wake up to the sounds of people banging, but you know.
And a cooking
Really
pot
help
of
it.
all things. I mean, that can't be nice.
He must be a pot sexual.
So,
I mean, at least they won't scream the house together.
no, it seems as if that's just the alarm clock. As one of you opens the door and peers out, you can see basically all the twists are getting up. There's a weird smell of meat, mystery meat, and fungus in the air.
Do I recognize the smell of burnt rat?
I'm
No.
going back and sitting on top of the mattress and breaking open a ration. Fuck that shit.
If you wish, they will provide meals.
Nope.
As all the
As soon
twists
as I
have their
would.
breakfast.
Are you sure you don't want me to season that for you, Darius? It'd be a lot tastier.
Not with their food. Have you got anything on you?
Oh, only my ration packed.
Well,
And-
then no.
You still don't trust my cooking.
I wonder if
No, I trust your cooking. I don't trust their
fortification
ingredients.
chili emery exists.
Chili what? Oh, chili con carne?
Chili emery.
Oh yeah, it's like the best one
Oh yeah.
by far.
I mean, I don't know, never eaten one.
It's like beef stews is quite nice too.
Yeah.
It can be a bit.
It depends on the
Gunky.
country it comes from.
That's true.
North Korea's MREs, not so good.
North Korea's MREs are a lot like the Imperiums. They are Soylent Green.
Corpse starch.
Pretty much. But by all means, you awaken the next day, fairly early. maybe could do with an extra hour or so, but at the same time, as you awaken, kind of smells in here. In fact, there's that fungus, and yeah, there's something hard to describe the smell of burning shit, but no wood down here.
Well then,
That's a very pungent, horrific odor.
yeah.
That shit is flat out repulsive.
I imagine
sure
they're
whatever
smart enough to dry it a bit,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of worse.
I'm sure whatever it is just adds flavour.
It's Pete from Pete.
It is. It is.
I'll eat. Do I recognize? No.
Oh no.
Smelling the very pungent.
I mean, actually, Ezio,
Horrific
you're from a
odor.
death world, so the tribes on your death world. I'm taking a stretch here because I don't know if it's a jungle, if it's a forest, if it's a desert, but tribes people you might have encountered. The fact that shit burns quite well. Mm-hmm. On our world, some people inhale donkey shit as a medicine when burning. Looking at you, Iranians. Yeah.
I mean,
No.
I thought it was Chinese, but oh well.
not to piss on anyone's coffee, but there are coffee that are made with feces.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
this
yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Also,
No,
isn't that
no.
one of the most expensive coffees?
It is.
Like,
Oh yeah.
It is. And
needs
no.
to be placed.
No, you
It
don't.
is
Why
bloody
ruin the
expensive.
coffee? Why ruin the? So yeah, not uncommon even in the Imperium, but a pungent smell nonetheless.
Is you having encountered previous pungent smells and his bad experience with it during this campaign? No widely used for a ration pack.
Hey, no one smelt the psychic fart when I caught the rat. It was just me.
So
I mean,
it is
the
morning.
rat did
You can-
smell a bit. Did taste a bit funny. Like it had some special spice.
I love
Though
the.
it could have
the-
been burnt.
I do think that you know what the special spice was.
You don't want to know what his special spice is.
Yeah, you really don't want to know that.
If we could get off the special man sauce that goes onto the rat kebab. A new dawn, a new day. The Emperor, he's waiting.
He's waiting, but we keep talking about shit and kebabs.
Man sauce.
I mean, the Emperor from Dexter's Speech would probably talk about shit and kebabs.
It's okay, it's enough.
Agitated skeletonry.
So about an hour has passed with your shenanigans going on. There's just the sound of ration packs opening and the giggles like school children as memories are brought up.
Some
I
of them
will-
better left unremembered or something.
I'll proceed and grab the wedge from the door and we prepare to leave. I don't want to forget my metal wedge.
Yeah, it's good plan.
I'm gonna be right back.
Sure. As you go out, you can see that the mutants have a big pot that they filled with fluid and, water. I'll be nicer to them. They filled it full of water and all their ingredients, and they're basically doing a big communal pot stew for everyone. Yeah, fuck it, why not? People are still in the fighting pit. Why not? Can't bother to change the map. As you get up, are you leaving, or did you want to do anything else here?
I mean, Mordecai probably wants to talk to the boss.
No, I want to take some pick grabs of the writing that's all over the walls, or the runes, or whatever they were.
More wounds and sell to the humans. Wait, wrong game.
No. It's just coincidence that this time both my characters have an obsession with runes, okay? They're just interesting.
I mean, these runes are a lot more dangerous.
So Hector could probably transmit some images onto one of your data slates. That would be doable. But I don't think any of you have a camera to take photos of, so it's secondhand from the servo skull.
You could
Will
take a
my
sketch.
Auspex be able to take
No,
pics?
that's like a life sign scanner. Scan this to see what its chemical what it's made of. It's not optical. It's more heat signatures, blips on radars, target life signs over there. Helps with
Generic
awareness
sci-fi
checks.
scanner thing.
Yeah, basically.
You can detect someone farting, but you can't really take a picture of it.
Yeah.
An interesting picture.
I mean, the servo skulls have optics in them because they have to have optics in them, but it's sensors for them to be able to see, and Jenny would be able to translate the sensory data into image data and then put it onto a data slate. That's just something that tech priests can do. The only problem with it is it's not going to be clear. It's going to be a second-hand, grainy 40k image. If you had a proper camera, basically a hololith projector, no, HoloLens camera. There are actually amazing 40k cameras out there, but they're specific pieces of technology that can take amazing, 3D photos and all sorts of shit. You don't have that, so it will be a grainy second-hand photo. But sure, you can get that.
Yeah. Enough for me to just study later and stuff.
Yes, it won't give you any bonuses to finding for data later on, but it gives you a reference. If you came down here with a proper camera and took proper detailed photos, you'd probably get a +10 to finding stuff similar to it. But as it stands, it will just be a good correlation for it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want right now, until I can get my hands on a pit. God, I can't remember what they're called.
Pick camera, pick recorder.
Yeah, that's the one.
Out of character, I feel as if this is super stupid, but Liliana, if she can draw on the data slate, she will basically make a crude drawing.
No, you can't do that. No, they're not touchpads. This is, although they are best quality for hacking purposes and the amount of data that it can hold and things like that, they are still the most basic of basic notepads. Basically, you still have to type onto a keyboard to enter in data. It's not like touch screen and you can make things bigger, and what we have now technically is more advanced than the 40k equivalent, unless it's Archaeotech. An Archaeotech data slate would 100% be touch. It would be like an Apple iPad, infinite version. But sadly, the deterioration means yours little keyboards, they're attached to the bottom. Yeah.
It's fine. I'll just try to remember that it's an 8-pointed star. And I'll make note,
so again,
down and tell on my report about this.
Again, you can get
a description of it.
You can get, if you want photos of the corpses, the abomination thing, you can get second-hand ones from Hector. That's perfectly fine to put into your reports. You will just have to, Jenny will just have to second-handly just go through Hector's data and just change it into visual data for every normal person. Because obviously when Jenny sees the 0011s, she's got the implants to be able to turn that into visual data that she can see, but everyone else just sees zeros and ones. They don't see the actual correlation of that. They're what her Mechanicus implants do innately. But she can change that, yeah.
Someone went Dawn of War in the background.
I do
was
believe
thinking
that's yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I muted?
No, you're not, and we can hear it.
It's like when you attack the microphone with your headphones earlier.
What?
Yeah, you attacked the microphone with the headphones earlier.
What?
Was that you taking them off? I'm sure we said something. I guess that was them coming off.
I think it is. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
So your character's gonna have to take some of Hector's visual data and turn it into pictures for the group, so they can get some grainy images of the 8-pointed star and some grainy images of the abomination that was cut down and of the runes on the side of the dome.
Yep. Done.
Well, good okay.
Yeah, and that doesn't need a test doing. That's so basic for a tech priest to do.
Wasn't I think last week I said I was gonna go and like assist their quote unquote doctor.
Okay, sure. As you wake up, you would notice that there is some very chesty coughing coming from this room, centered around. Oh, I'm gonna have to change my. Centered around. Ah, then I picked him up. This individual. So sure, if you go out, you can see that, basically everyone's chowing down, except actually from Alucard. He takes some food and then comes over to here. He actually goes into the room that the chesty coughing is coming from. Wow, that's Sunakun. That is some delay you've got going on there.
That was actually a bit of delay on my end too.
That was a massive delay. I was actually like looking at the Sunakun screen going, why is he not moving? What's going on? Wow, it's very slow today. So you've just seen Alucard go into the room with where the coughing's coming from as he opens the door.
I'm gonna follow him in.
Sure, he does. He goes to close the door absent-mindedly, not looking out. Do you call out to him?
Sounds like someone needs a medic here. I'm a medic licensed.
The door stops as he turns around and,
Sure. You wanna take a look, I guess? I can't stop you.
he holds the door open.
Thank you.
This is Officer Edward. He was my second in command.
Is this the old guy who almost cuffed up his lungs yesterday?
Yes, it is indeed. He's of an individual who looks like he's about 60, give or take. He does not have any of the youthful glow or stretched skin that you would normally see with Juvenat treatment. If you want to give me a Medicae perception, as you give him a check a once over.
By all means.
Okay, so you raise him up.
I see what's wrong in his fucking genome.
You raise him up and you begin to check, listening to his respiratory function, and there's a lot of cracking and wheezing and murmuring. What? And as he breathes in, there's this that comes from inside of his chest. Oh, that's not normal.
That's
Is it Darren?
Does he have a lung, maybe?
better question. Does he have an extra lung?
I think the question is, does he have a fucking person in his...
You don't know. There's a very weird sound that comes from him. You could use a auger array to
Which I
scan
don't
him.
We have one in the party, though.
You do indeed.
Oh, yeah,
There's not. It's not a medical or specs, but you are a tech priest, so you can,
Yep,
tweak.
let's do this.
Not diagnostic.
Alright.
So I would guess that Ezio would allow Beethoven to assist one of his comrades.
Sure.
So give me a tech use test with, I believe, it should be a +20 because it's not a medical one, and you're having to set it up to do medical stuff. We're going to say a +10.
Okay. I'll take that.
Okay. So 2 degrees of success, you're able to get enough information that it seems as if this individual is definitely his vitals, his just like the details that you're getting. This is not a healthy person. That's quite easy to tell. And as you do some more,
Gee, who would have funk?
as you do some more auxiliary tests, you can see that his eyes are not a bright white. They're more of a yellowish, greenish tinge, and just his tongue, when he sticks it out, is just completely covered in a growth that, again, doesn't look altogether normal. You maybe take a sample to put into your Medicaid kit to test later. But without the proper medical equipment on hand, it's difficult to come up with a treatment. But taking the information that you do have, you think you might be able to come up with something, possibly. Give me a Medicaid test with a -20.
So is Medicaid intelligence?
Yes, intelligence this time.
Hey, so I'm rolling flat because superior chirurgeon.
Yep. Okay, so you come up with a treatment plan.
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna spend a fate point to substitute my intelligence bonus for degrees of success.
So you've got mastery on Medicaid now, or is that your chirurgeon?
I have 4 ticks, but that's like my chirurgeon special ability.
Yeah. Okay.
Dedicated healer.
Yes. So
Let me just double
with
check the wording, but I'm pretty sure I can do that.
yes, no, I do believe you can. So because that's the special skill for chirurgeon, but you also get that skill if you get the mastery skill, which is maximizing any tick boxes. So with 4, was it 4 degrees or 5?
5. My intelligence bonus is 5.
With 5 degrees of success, your first treatment program that you could think of was a little bit basic, and you started thinking about the materials on hand and what you had with Hector, and you're pretty sure this is going to take something. Give me a tech use test with a +20. This would not be difficult for you to be able to essentially whip up.
Tech use plus 20. I
Okay.
could do that in my sleep.
So you go round and you say to Alucard, I need some pieces. You give him a list, and after 15-20 minutes, all these pieces arrive. And you quickly put together essentially a little pump that can house a medicine and can vaporize it.
Oh, actually, I have 4 ticks in Medica, yeah, so I could still do it.
You,
The chirurgeon thing is when I fail to provide first aid, I can spend fate points.
for
But since
this, because it's on an NPC, I'll allow it because it went quite well. You didn't fail the test. For this time, I'll make an exception.
Very sorry.
So you basically make a very, very, very primitive. Like what's the things that that asthmatics use? Shit, it's inhaler. An inhaler. You make a very basic inhaler for medicine, and you basically go through a couple of moments of, well, about half an hour of taking different medicines from out of your medical kit, putting them together, and having him inhale the vapor. And then listening to his chest and seeing if it's easing it, if it's making it worse. And you notice that for a couple of the chemical mixtures, there's definitely, like, he seems to, like, wince and cough quite a lot. And there's definitely it's louder. The that comes from inside of his lungs. But then you change.
Not really.
You change the chemical concoction round, and with your degrees of success and your tech use, you finally find the right blend, and all of a sudden the noise is almost completely gone. And he does inform you that it is easier to breathe. It doesn't feel as if there's a stabbing pain and a gnawing inside of his lungs.
You should... No, never mind. That would be insensitive.
You are able to add medicine onto the list of things that you can bring down here to trade with them. Because you definitely know this poor bastard needs it. And again, he's in a very worn and battered officer's garb.
Unfortunately, this is only a temporary solution, but it is the best I can do given the circumstance.
Thank you, Tech Priest. The God Emperor, thank you.
And again, the officer has just a... Like, you've seen 1,000-yard stares. Like, Alucard has a really intense 1,000-yard stare. So does this officer. In fact, for Darius and Ezio, the... Amy, she also had a very intense, like a stare that you would see on a hardened veteran. And you can also imagine that Johnny also has that very strong, seen more shit than they should have seen.
I am going to return to the group then, unless there are other people I could provide with impromptu medical attention. This will only delay the inevitable.
To be honest with you,
getting some bionics.
To be honest with you, you could probably treat everyone for something or other. I appreciate it, Tech Priest. You've, Edward and I go way back. Thanks.
It was of no problem. I enjoy practicing medicine.
Well, feel free if you wanna see to anyone else, but I wouldn't recommend it. You might get more than a little overwhelmed.
I suppose one or two more looks wouldn't hurt anyone. I'll just do like one or two more.
Okay, as you say one or two more, he is going to be an arsehole then, and he'll go and bring his two men in. Be like, oh, you want one or two more? I know two who can keep their mouth shut. So sure, if you want to give me 2 medical tests, both with perception, and then 2 medical tests, both with intelligence.
I'm gonna reroll that second one.
Sure.
And now,
The god of sevens loves you.
or hates me.
Well, as long as your target's 80 and 90, then it's perfectly fine.
I have Medicaid the Medicaid.
I mean, so they're both minor injuries, skin like infections, minor infections on cuts and things like that, and you're able to basically provide medicine and provide decent bandages and decent disinfectants to treat their injuries. You would also get a more detailed look at their mutations. So Amy does indeed have she doesn't have hair. It's all feathers. As she takes her helmet off and like shakes her head, her feathers bushel out like a bird when it shakes, gaining back a bit more of their shape, and they are indeed much larger on the top of her head. And she has some movement of them. They do twitch a little bit, but she can't actually move them around like a bird would.
Curious, most curious.
And it does go down the back of her neck with the small, tiny feathers and down onto her shoulders. But that's as far as it goes. With Johnny, the tentacle hand appears to be the only, as you check him over, it's the only mutation he has. Again, chop that hand off and put a replace bionic on there. He would pass for human, without a doubt. Something you may want to try and, if you want that good fungus, who knows?
If you want that good shit.
If you want the fungus that makes you see into the warp and spit in the eye of a chaos god, then
I'm not sure I want to see into the warp. I think I'll settle for subpar Chinese fungus.
So,
I mean, is it fungus?
The fungus. So you're able to treat the 2 soldiers. Again, you give them some ointments, rubs, and things that you put together for their injuries. But a lot of their health issues are basically, poor diet, poor nutrition, no real sunlight, so there's no vitamin D. Although you have noticed that they do actually have a UV lamp set up, and the mutants do spend a bit of time stood under it. Maybe that helps them a little bit more. The light from the lightning also seems to give off a small amount of UV radiation, because there is some lichen growth around where there's water from, well, basically where mutants take a piss against the same wall over and over and over and over again. Small amount of fungus grows lichen. But yeah, there's no other people that you can help at the moment. Unless you want to spend all day down here. You probably spent an hour treating the 3 individuals. Yeah, yeah. The other two weren't really. You didn't need to diagnose much. So are you guys? Do you want to speak to Alucard again about anything, or do you want to make your way back?
I'm okay with just heading back unless someone else wants to talk.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay, so you gather up your stuff, your belongings you want to take with you. You may just want to leave some of your sleeping bags. It's up to you.
Oh no. Liliana's leaving her. God damn it! The word just escaped me.
Sleeping bag.
She's leaving. She's leaving her. Yes, her sleeping bag there. It's a gift.
It's like you could use more beds. Here you go.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I
I can probably wash it off. It's just a mattress.
mean, I think we have enough money so that we can buy a new one anyway. So yeah, I'm leaving it.
Alright, fine, fuck it, I'll leave a mattress here too.
Leave them.
Wait, no, fucking... I just said mattress.
But you're gonna nick the mattress from them.
Right, you steal the door, I steal the mattress, it's fine.
They'll never know.
The perfect crime. No, I'll leave the sleeping bag, why not? Fuck it, more space for me. He's doing a patrol.
So where do you guys want to go? Do you want to head to your base in the lower hive, like in the middle where Ceres Victoria is, or do you want to go to your bar?
I just realized I put backpack down his backpack. In my fucking inventory.
Well done.
Right.
I don't think we need to make the pit stop on our safe house. So maybe just go all the way up.
Speak for yourself. I must not have slept well here. I'm knackered. Because I still have the fatigue from last time.
You should have removed it.
Oh,
After an hour's rest. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, you would have removed any fatigue that you have built up. It wasn't the best night's sleep, but it was safe. You just heard noises, and if you live in a busy city on a Friday night, you know you'd be used to the exact same shit. So
You don't even
Living
need
near a train
sleep
line,
to
so-
remove fatigue in this. You just need an hour's rest.
Yeah.
So,
okay, so you head out. You have a guide, the Porcupine Girl from last time. She will lead you essentially up to the place where you met her. And then from there, if you want, she can lead you a bit further. But she tells you that if you want her to lead you any further up, she'll want paying. Alucard said to the Fungus Farm.
I mean, we'd know our way up from here, so I don't think Liliana's gonna pay her. She's just gonna wave goodbye and go.
Okay.
And it's up to you guys too. So
If you're happy with that, it will take you 11 hours to get to your base in the Underhive, and then it will take you. Let's say you pay, so everyone remove 50 thrones from your inventory.
Damn it!
For the express pass on elevators and transportation. So that cuts that time by 1/3. So it takes you another 10 hours, 11 hours actually, to get back to the Salty Nipple. So in total, you spend 22 hours traveling, and you are back at the Salty Nipple. You are
The Raven.
the
we
Raven.
rebranded
Sorry.
it. It's the Raven Court now.
You walk through the door as you. Tiffany's not here right now. She's You guys left. She would have gone back to her domain for a while.
Ah,
We
there it
didn't.
is.
We haven't kidnapped 2 Tiffany's.
No, not yet at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically dead on your feet after travelling and walking and having to deal with the hustle and bustle of the under hive, the middle hive, the lower hive. You've experienced so much of the of the hive city this day. Give me.
I've just realized that we've nearly traveled as much as it would take us across the entire Earth just to get from the underhive to the middle hive.
Oh yes, it is. It is a journey and a half. So on the 28th, you arrive. 28th. On the 48th of this imperial year, you make it back to the Raven Court. But on your journey, can you please give me an awareness test? Flat.
No.
Can I also make a Sinicians test?
No.
Okay.
I always
Yes,
fail
yes,
these.
you can.
Ooh!
Was that a yes I can? Okay.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Am I the only one that passed?
I
Please don't make me
failed.
the only one that passed.
Wait, shit, there's 2 now.
Why am I the only one that passed, apart from Mordecai's Sinicians?
Which isn't going to detect shit, because Sinicians never does.
That's you, please.
Listen, Mordecai's got things on his mind, alright? He's got a voice talking to him.
Is it the gerbil?
And Lillian is too bouncy to pay attention to her surroundings. She's just like a kid.
Front or back, Fancy?
Both.
Oh, God.
Oh dear.
Disgusting.
Everything is fine.
So, how bad was it? How bad was it? Well, so many of you
Wait a
are
second,
just.
my role doesn't seem to come through.
Oh, is the curse happening to you now? This curse has affected. Oh no, here it is. Oh well, it was failure.
Shite.
So,
Curse doesn't seem to strike my internet, it also seems to strike my luck.
as you're making your way up, most of you are concerned. You've got a lot to think about. Just things have been going on, and maybe it's just excitement to get away from the freaks and mutants. But for some reason, only one of you is aware. And as you're making your way up, Darius, you'd notice that for one, in the 2 days that you've been gone, it does seem as if the underhive where Dodgy Dave's was and you guys started up seems to be very similar. Not all that much has changed. The rubble is still there, the burnt out vehicles are still there, but the people seem to have got back into the swing and are now doing business. As you head further up and you're on the get off the elevator on the floor of the Raven Court, you would see that there are actually groups of people like getting into vehicles, military vehicles. You would recognise these vehicles. They're the ones that go around picking up all the recruiters that the is it the commissariat? No, it's the recruiting officers. Administratum recruiters have like gone in and rounded up, and like, oh, you guys, you're not employed, or you're in labour. They don't need you. Come on, you're coming into the.
Oh, so they're rounding up conscripts.
Basically, pretty much.
Okay.
You know, they've got to the point now where they seem to be pushing things up a bit. They're now going round and actually going into places and seeing who is unemployed, who is low, you know, got a job that could be easily replaced by some child who can't hold arms.
Good sign. Okay, I'll take note.
and that is on
Do
the
you share this
48th.
information?
That's on what, sorry? The 48th?
The 48th, yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, I would be... I'll mention to you guys that they're running up conscripts, which generally means they're expecting something.
Well, so they are recruiting for a founding at the moment. So conscripts, they're trainee guardsmen. So yeah, basically conscripts. It's Darius, you at least would know that this founding started on.
I think it was a week, 2 weeks.
It's been about a week. It hasn't been that long. So for them to be doing this now.
That's what's concerning me, yeah.
That's fast. Very fast.
It is rather fast.
Or low turnout.
That too.
So, out of character, would I know what would be the most efficient way to dodge the draft? Just in case.
I mean,
So your characters have IDs already made. So under your original, what one was it? Refugee IDs, they could have actually conscripted your fucking asses. As it plays now, when they run your idents, essentially you're too high up of a position that can't be easily filled, so you're not a candidate for recruiting. But anyone who's doing a labouring job, for example, if they scan you and it's, oh, you're a labourer, a child could do that job. Into the army you go,
Or pony. Yeah.
But when you arrive at your bar,
yeah, flashlights.
as you arrive at your bar, you would notice that it is still, you haven't really seen it in full swing, because I think you left pretty much when it was done. It's actually, you go in and it's a decent number of people in here. Doesn't look like the recruiters got to your bar before reaching their daily quota of plebeians to round up. So, there's still lots of people drinking, spending money, and enjoying themselves. You were gone for 2 days. Hang on, wait, no, you were gone for longer than that, because you went to Ceres's place. You were gone for, because we had that week off, 10 days off. So, so you actually left on the 45th. So you've been gone 4 days.
Okay.
So, was there any trouble? No, there was not. It seems as if in those 4 days, there was no trouble at your bar. Not a sausage. Your good security was able to quell any disturbances. So you were quite all right. So, as the camera gets a good view of the busy club bar that the acolytes have created for the Inquisition, that's where the camera goes back out and starts to zoom off into the sky as we end our episode. I certainly hope you did enjoy this episode where deals were made with the mutants. Is arming them the best idea? Would the God Emperor approve of this action?
No.
Is arming them the best idea? No, but do we have any better ideas? No.
Yes. Leave them alone.
Would the God Emperor approve? Yes, you would.
No,
Or
wouldn't.
was it all in his design?
It's in
To
the
let
book.
a brave member of an Imperial Guard founding regiment.
Yeah, well, he didn't write the book.
We will have
Heresy.
to see as time goes on. Thank you
Fucking
very much
bite
for
me.
watching.
A heretic wrote the book, so is the book heresy.
Listen, semantics.
It's been rewritten. Take care, everyone, and as always, bye bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Praise the
ya.
demon voices.
Don't make me recite the prayer of hatred of the mutant.